14, 15.
Welcome back. 270 points lower on the Nifty. Let's welcome in Dinshaw Irani, CEO of Helios Mutual Fund, who is joining us now. Dinshaw, great to have you with us here. Thank you very much. It's all red and worrisome-looking screen out there, Dinshaw. What are you doing? How are you looking at it? What's the team's view at Helios? Your view and what's coming out of those discussions?
Afternoon, Prashant, and good afternoon to your viewers too. And thank you for having me on your show. By the way, morning I was wearing a white shirt and it's turned pink because of the blood on the streets. But anyway, Prashant, our feel is that the market, I think, is overstretching now. I mean, the fact that we are correcting so heavily, and that too, I mean, what were the negatives? Negatives were that earnings growth wasn't happening, the quarter looked really not that great and stuff like that. But despite that, we're talking about flattish earnings, right? And I mean, flattish earnings doesn't, ensure that you lose, 13, 14% on your narrow indices and probably 14, 15% on your broader indices. So it's obvious that there's a panic building in. And probably, I mean, hand on heart, our feel is that probably this is a time when you can, stick your neck out and say, look, I like this stock. I like the valuations which the stocks are quoting at, and I want to buy. So I'll start picking. And that's what actually we're doing. We're very nibbling right now at the markets for whatever little cash that we have and whatever little cash that we get every day. I think it's time to just go and pick your stock that you want to, which you believe is a winner, which you believe the valuations are looking very reasonable. Go and pick those up.
All right. Hi, Dinshaw. Good to see you in. So what are those stocks that you like, Dinshaw? It's come to a good level. Name a few if you can. I recall, we had a brief chat about some of these new age themes. They look good and maybe they still look good. But for the time being, some of them have come off a little bit. A good entry opportunity or any other stock that you like?
Yeah, so you said it. Some of the platform companies are now unnecessarily being hammered down for no reason. Obviously, the IT names are getting hammered because of what's happening in China. DeepSeek supposedly is having a big impact, but I remember the same was the case when WhatsApp, the data issues were there. Finally, people came back to WhatsApp again, but I'm not saying that the same thing gonna happen. But things have to work out there. So IT companies, I think, are getting hammered for no reason. So these are the few names where you want to, obviously the banking names, whichever we like, we're slowly picking them up, though they haven't corrected much as such. But wherever, and obviously, Nigel, I will not tell you the names that we are picking up for obvious reasons, but this is how it is. And each one may have their own view.
Yeah. Dinshaw, hi, good afternoon. We know you can't tell us the names, but you can give us some hints about at least what you're liking in the market, where valuations are looking attractive, and where you think at least like 6 months down the line, you as well as shareholders will be happy, Dinshaw.
So as I said, the fact is that we've been very selective. Anyway, we were very selective in picking our names in the beginning itself. So private sector, again, I'm not saying the banks, private sector banks I'm talking about. Again, there we've been very selective. We've not gone into names which are microfinance exposed and, vehicle financing exposed. We got into pure consumer banks where the franchises were pretty strong and they come out with flying colors. You saw the results of ICICI Bank. It was fairly a good result and it came out fairly well. So these are a few names in the banking space. Then obviously, as I already stated, the platform companies, we like them a lot. IT space, in fact, if anything, I think they're coming out stronger out of this mess which is happening right now. So those are some few names that we like. And that's about it. So I don't think I need to name anything beyond that.
Okay. No, we won't push you. I know you have your, compliance issues. But every time I hear the term DeepSeek, the only thing I can think of is that this is a market that is deeply seeking some gains. I don't know about any other kind of DeepSeek, frankly. We'll get to know more when the US trades tonight. But
actually, Subi, we believe that this will be the time period when real alpha can be found in stocks. And if you don't panic, the investor doesn't panic and continues with the SIPs and all, I think this is the time when he can really average out as such. So that's why our fingers are crossed. I think we're getting good value now. So that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Dinshaw, on a different note, we'll deal with this global sell-off, see what happens overnight. But on a different note, it's also the budget week. So right now, while obviously you won't take a budget-related trade, short-term 2-3 day trade, but what I'm trying to ask is, that in general, over the next 2-3 months, would you rather position your portfolio expecting some sort of a consumer, focus budget, some consumer push, or would you go back to beaten down capex names, expecting that to remain a big focus for the government?
So, okay, Sumi, that's a good question, because I think basically the government has done is build on the capex. And frankly, I mean, looking at the maths that we normally work as we go into the next budget, our feel is that the government doesn't have much left to, even spend. I mean, given that the GDP growth has slowed down, and obviously the additional revenue that you gather from that is not going to be that exciting. So it's obvious that, and obviously they want to keep the deficit in check. So I think the only thing that they can do is make it a very consumer-focused budget. You heard some sound bites, right? I mean, in fact, some of the government officials have gone on record saying that we've done enough for corporates, we've done enough for the low-income guys, we need to do something with the masses and stuff like that. And I'm sure they're talking about something to do with the tax or something like that. I don't know how they're going to push this thing. But obviously, the government is also cognizant of the fact that, look, consumption is suffering and urban consumption is suffering. And by the way, even after the budget, there's this RBI meet which is going to happen. I think it's going to be a very concentrated effort from both sides as such if you want to push consumption going forward. And I think that is what is needed, the need of the hour. So let's hope that it's a consumption-driven budget rather than anything else. On capex, I'm not keeping any bets right now.
Dinshaw, hi. You were bullish on the wealth management, capital market related plays. Now stocks have corrected 20-25%. Are these the sectors which you're selectively looking to buy? Tell us how you're approaching the sector which you've liked after the correction.
So Rima, we like these plays anyways, and frankly, the valuations are fairly stretched at some point. If you remember, I also said that we're trimming our positions in a few of these counters because we think the positions are pretty stretched out here. So we did that, and obviously we got some money left on the side. But I think still right now, rather looking at the way the markets are so choppy and volatile, I don't think we're gonna get into real high beta names like those. So I would rather go with steady plays right now than go into these mid and small cap in a big way. We will nibble, but not in a big way. So I would rather be away from these names right now.
Okay, all right. No, absolutely. Point taken there. But broadly, the view at Helios now is that enough damage has happened. For now, right? And this is a little overdue. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, overdone.
Samir was with us on the program. I don't know if you saw that, the Confessions show, Mistakes Made, over the last Friday. And he was kind of saying that actually in the context of global, his point was that global is looking good and India is looking somehow bad. So it should not, it should align. My only thing is this, if this global thing, and we're not really clear, right? You spoke about DeepSeek, etc. Will that be an issue? How big an issue?
So actually...
so that's the only thing. Yeah, sorry, go on.
Prashant, actually you're right, because the 7 guys who rallied in the US and which pulled up the rally for the NASDAQ and S&P and everybody there were all related to OpenAI, to AI rather, artificial intelligence as such. And if DeepSeek is going to be such a cheap alternative, which anyway was going to happen. I don't think it was when it's going to happen. It's whether it will happen or not. It was only when it's going to happen, right? So it's happened pretty early in its life, I think, in the life of AI, that is. And I think all these guys have to catch up there. I don't know how long this will last or how long will this pain will go on in the AI bit. But one thing that we are very clear about is if India can have I think the rush of money outside India, in fact, I don't know whether you're aware, in fact, year to date, the outflows out of EM are $7 billion, and most of them have happened out of India per se, and that all money has rushed to US. I think the rush is mainly because of the currency as such. And if we can give an answer to that, I think all the FIs are pretty panicking on the rupee right now. They're I don't know what reason is there, but whenever you talk to them, they said, look, we are very concerned about the way the rupee has been propped up and we expect the rupee to depreciate sharply and stuff like that. So I think that is what we need to answer, and I don't know how that's going to be answered as such. So let's see how that works out. I think the main flow is because of that uncertainty on the rupee rather than anything else.
That's point taken. Absolutely. And I was also wondering, sometimes you look back at history and there are points in time when you, obviously it's only clear with the benefit of hindsight that was the point, right? November 2022, Chat GPT was announced, and that sparked off this big rally in AI, data centers, robotics, what have you, right? I mean, that is essentially been the big theme. Of course, I mean, when it came out, I don't think anyone realized it, but it just sort of, that was the point. Absolutely. Dinshaw, thank you very much. Great speaking with you, and thank you very much for joining us. Great conversation, and I hope some of what you're saying pans out and we see stability sooner rather than later. Thank you. All right, well, we'll take a quick commercial break here. We'll come back and we'll tell you what's happening in dealing rooms. Important check. Nimesh is going to help us with that in just a bit.